Hey all, Hibber here, and welcome to the channel about boring ships. And today we have one of the most boring ships in the game, and it is the new Salem Tier 8 cruiser, which you can get for steel. So let's just have a look at my boring build here, and I'm using Montpellier here, so an anti-dispersion build. I also have Mimbelli for increased reload, but I mean you can pretty much put anything in that slot. On the ship, we also were speccing into accuracy and damage with this build here. I also have agile builds with my boring Salem, but yeah, it works fine. Works about as good as with Des Moines, and that's, well, no, pretty good. So 17 range, 4.2 reload, and that's what you get with Salem. So this ship costs a whopping 25,000 steel, and that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, and there's really nothing special about it. It's, it's a Des Moines, one tier lower, basically. It's got slightly better armor midships, but that's about it. And there's some small differences other than that, but, in the bigger scheme of things, it feels just like playing a Des Moines, really. And with a build like this, you're kind of locking yourself into one of the most boring playstyles there is when you're playing a boring ship like Salem. And I prefer the ship in an agile build because I want to spice it up a little bit. But I realize that most people are probably going to play it with a build similar to this, all about damage and reload, I guess, range. And yeah, of course it works really well, about as good as Des Moines, but man, it's boring. So I picked a rather average battle here in Salem for you, because this is what you can expect in most of your battles, and well, that is to be bored, really. I mean, in this battle here, I moved forward for about a minute and a half, and then I spent the rest of the battle in one position, really. And sometimes you're lucky and you actually finish off your flank fairly quickly. You can go do other stuff, but in some games like this game here, you are pretty much just sitting there trying to hold the cap and hoping that everyone else does the same thing, which they're doing in this game here. I have a really good team. As you see, this is a really short battle, which is a lucky thing for me, because I was pretty bored playing this ship here. If I want boring gameplay like this, I'll play a battleship, really. The only thing that spices this up over battleships is that you get a radar and you can punish destroyers, but other than that, well, it's pretty awful, to be honest. And I mean, that's the way to play the American heavy cruisers. That's just the way it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't enjoy it, and I find them extremely boring. Like, I have never really gotten to like the Baltimore. Wichita I like, because you can make that ship into a really nasty agile cruiser. But Des Moines is also, kind of mediocre when it comes to the fun department, and Salem is the same. It's not a ship that I will, take out on a regular basis and, have fun in, because I'm having a hard time having fun in this battle. It doesn't matter how many ships you sink and how many battles you win or how many destroyers you radar, because there's just not really much fun about it, honestly. And it's also a little bit too easy to play, I think. So I have an anti-dispersion build on it here, and as you can see, working pretty well, because I've just been sitting here. I haven't done anything. So, and that's my main problem with these ships here and their playstyle, because like I said in the beginning, you just move in for a minute, 2 minutes maybe, and then you find a good spot, and then you sit there. And that's it. And then you hold the fire button really for the next 12 minutes. And yeah, I find that I find that really dull. Then there's another question we need to touch upon here, and it's the value for money. Because Salem is tier 8, and as you can tell, you're missing out on the sonar, and you get a better heal, yes, and you get better armor. Midships, at least, you still have the same armor at the front and the bow, and as Des Moines. We're comparing to Des Moines here. So, I mean, I was expecting more difference to put down, 25,000 steel on what is basically a Des Moines. There would have to be something unique about this ship here, and I'm not talking about slightly better armor, or something this or something that. There have to be something particular and unique about it. Just like Missouri, I mean, it's a battleship and it has a radar that makes it unique. It makes it worth the 30,000 steel that it used to be. It's 17.5 now, and it's certainly worth 17.5. I don't think it was worth 30,000 steel either, and I definitely don't think Salem is worth 25,000 steel, especially if you already have Des Moines. Then I'd be, inclined to say that Salem makes no sense. I mean, there's much better things you can spend your steel on, especially with the epic and legendary upgrades now being available for steel. It just doesn't really make sense to me. But I understand that some people love the American heavy cruisers and they want to have every single one of them, including the Tulsa, which is available in the campaign. So yeah, I get it. But if you enjoy agile cruisers, or you like to have a little bit of different gameplay once in a while, then this is probably not for you. Instead, I would just open the bureau and research the Des Moines and be done with it, really, after, I don't know, 3-4 months, whatever long it takes, and then save that 25,000 steel, because that is a harsh price to pay for, a slightly different Des Moines that sits one tier lower. Like I said, I don't think it's worth it, and I personally will not be buying Salem. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with the ship. It's an awesome ship. It's actually really good because it's at tier 8 instead of legendary tier. And switching the sonar is, you can argue if that's a good or a bad thing, but I'm seeing some people will like it, but I don't. I think it's terribly boring. So hope you enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you out there.